Hello and welcome to the second programming edition of 5 Minutes of Development. Today I'm going to walk you through the creation of a unit. Quick status update on the game. We're still working on Castle Conflict. It was not complete last Monday, and the week after was a write-off because I had to teach a course. So now that we're back going full ahead, we're actually very near completion. We're close to feature complete, and then we're going to spend some days polishing. So our new target deadline is next Monday. Alright, so the unit we're adding is actually a witch, and what this unit is going to do is she's going to walk across the screen, turn into a cat, and then walk past all the other units, turn back into a witch, and then do some small damage to the castle. So she's going to be a cheap stealth unit, and she's going to be the first stealth unit in the game. So the first thing I have to do is get the resources into the game. Now Josiah, the artist, just sends me the resources as PNG files through his website, and then I just save them right into the game directory. I have to actually add the graphics to the XML files. In these XML files are where we store all the coordinates and animations for our units. I'm going to try and find where I put the wizards, since she's associated with them. I don't like typing XML, so I'm just going to copy and paste. Excuse me. Alright, so I have to actually get the coordinates for her position. But I can do that based on the fact I know she's the same size as this guy, because Josiah told me. I know his position, because it's in the XML, so I just offset it based on how many frames are here to get hers. So the Cash Wizard, or the Polymorph Wizard I believe became his final name, starts at X of 384, he's 16 pixels wide and there's 4 frames. So that should be 448. I don't need a return animation. What I do need is the Witch is a cat. So as you can see, she walks, probably uses this animation, or I'll get a new one from Joe. Actually, probably this one. Becomes a cat, and again, walks past all the other units. And it is 6 frames. Now the next thing I have to do is create an actual class for it. So that'll be in my classes, game logic, units, unit types folder. And she is a magic unit. And as you can see, we have so many units now, we've actually had to separate them into different types. Now I'm going to base my witch off of the fire wizard. Well, no, I'm going to drop the golem. He's actually got what I want. I'm going to copy all his functionality and use that as a base. Saves me a lot of time. So she's the witch. Unmounted strength. And as a witch, she's going to have no strength against other units on her neck. But she is going to have strength against castles. And our view of what would be ideal for her, we find it hard to imagine a witch doing too much damage. So our intention is to make her do small damage, be a cheap unit, that's more of a snipe castle unit than anything else. Actually set her type in here. It doesn't exist yet because she's brand new. Alright, the next thing I do is start her animating. And she's going to walk a little bit faster than the golem. And she's not going to animate when she attacks because she has no attack animation. We end up not needing this. Alright, so now we have our witch working as we intended. Now I'm going to actually add another one called Begin Cat Animation. And this one I'm going to schedule with Coco's again. So for now, I'm going to make her walk a second before she turns into a cat. Later I might make that a little bit more random. When she begins her cat animation, I'm going to want to generate the graphic for the explosion, Unitech explosion is the name of the class I have for that. So I'm just going to use that. Let's make it a big explosion so it's more noticeable for the player. Don't leave that open anymore. Alright, so now I've got my witch generating the explosion. I want her to start animating. Speed her up a little bit when she's a cat. Maybe it should be faster then. See, move speed, and ignores combat, which is a flag that does not exist yet, but I'm going to add it. So she ignores combat when she's a cat. So let's go into our unit.h file. Add a bool for that. Now I'm going to go into where I check for unit collisions and add a flag so that if the unit ignores combat, it will not try to collide with that unit. Just like that. First of all, I need to add some information to my defaults. And again, this is where I store a lot of information about my units. Now, which is going to be chief. I want her to be a chief unit. Alright, now it knows how much she costs. These numbers all need to be balanced, but these are basically how many tech points, which are awarded at the end of each round, the player needs in order to purchase the unit. And one thing I've learned for next time is that instead of having all these switch statements, what I actually want to do is basically have a dictionary associating these integer numbers with a structure that holds all this data for me. Last thing I need to do is tell my unit factory how to create her. One last thing I need to do is I need to go to the shop scene. The reason for this is so I can actually make the witch purchasable, and then I'll actually be able to get her in-game. So basically in my shop, I just add pages of units with an upgrade and a list of units that I want. There we go, that one has 10. I haven't purchased the magic engine yet. Alright, either way I'm going to have to do a unit, or a level, so consider this your first free demo of the Castle Conflict update. So you can see already we have some new effects, new units, annoying new units in some cases. This is the Golem. He's a new unit. His basic role is to control the ground. So he's got really strong ground attacks. He can defeat almost any ground unit, but against an opposing castle, he's not quite so strong. This is the Archer. He turns trees into ammunition. So I'm going to let a couple trees grow before I summon one of him. Alright, let's go now. So you can see he finds a tree, shoots as an arrow. He's got pretty good accuracy. Run, little man! Oh. Alright, that's definitely enough tech points. I hit up the shots. 22, it's 12 for this, and 10 for the witch. Alright. So she's a chief unit. Let's give her a shot, see if she turns properly. Alright, so she did appear, went right past him, did her damage. Obviously there's some areas that could use some fixing. First of all, she didn't do very much damage at all, and that is partially because this is a weak unit. Second of all, she's supposed to actually turn back into a witch around here-ish. There we go. Oh, do have one problem. It's constantly calling this method. I forgot to unschedule it. And there we go. I'm going to make one last little tweak, and then I'm going to do the rest off the video. There we go. We now have a witch in the game.